Hello and welcome to my channel again. Today we're going to be doing Moroccan tanjia. So I'm just going to get my written recipe book and we'll start. Just looking for the recipe now. This is traditional of Marrakesh in Morocco, and it's normally served in a clay pot, and they cook it for like 6 to 8 hours in just coals. You can do it in like a casserole dish, and it comes out where the meat is so tender you'll never taste meat like it. So it's traditionally done with 4 pounds of lamb or beef. I've got some lamb breast here because obviously there's only me here, so I prefer that. You can have 1 onion. I prefer to use 2. So 2 onions, it doesn't matter what onions you use. A small head of garlic. I've got the garlic paste. I'm lazy that way. And handful of fresh parsley. And for the spices we're going to be using cumin, salt, black pepper. You can have white pepper as well, or cayenne. Ras el hanout. This is an Arabic spice, and ras means head, hanout means shop, so it's the head of shop, so head of spices. And we're going to use some lemons. You can grate some and you can chop some into wedges to flavour the dish. 1/4 cup of oil and 3 to 4 tablespoons of water. So if I just start by chopping all the vegetables and get them out of the way, and put the spices here, I can put the vegetables on that I've chopped. Once you've finished this dish, you can cover it with parchment paper, but it has to be tight around the rim of the tanjia or the rim of the casserole dish that you're using. And then after that you put foil over the top of it and just leave it to bake in the oven for 6 to 8 hours. It is worth it. I know it's a long time cooking, but it really is worth it to taste it. And I am doing recipe cards, so don't forget to comment, like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. We're just doing this and taking like the paper, it's like paper, like tissue paper off the layers of the onions. So we'll just do the last one and then we'll get them chopped. And I want to accompany this by a vegetable tagine, and that's what I'll be doing in a while. So I've got a meat dish and a vegetable dish, and normally it's served with bread. The Moroccan bread named cobs or hops, but it's like a flat bread and it's got quite nice flavour on the top. I think they use semolina or some kind of corn, ground corn for it, but it is quite lovely. Right, so we'll just take the peelings off of them. Obviously any like tissuey paper, and then we just chop. You don't need to have small pieces this time. it's up to you how many onions you actually put into the dish itself. I mean, whatever you like. You know, it's up to you how you like your onions. I prefer mine in this dish. I prefer it quite big because obviously the flavour and everything else. So right, we'll just chop these and then obviously wash the knife after because else it'll be turning black. So I'm just going to wash the board and the knife. And we'll get on with the next part. Now, right, and the knife. Right, so I'm going to get my casserole dish out now so I can actually put all the stuff in. There's my casserole dish, just a square one or a round one if you have one. So, but before that I'm going to chop the parsley. I think that's just a garnish at the end. So it's just a handful that you need. Just like that. Put this back in the refrigerator. You can put other things in, but it's nice with the spices that we have. Right, just taking the lamb out. Don't forget to wash it. Wash your meat. Just washing it now. So wash that and place it in the actual casserole dish itself. I'll wash my hands again because I've been handling raw meat. This is quite a tasty meal. We've got some warm, very warm spices in. Cumin sets it off quite nicely, and obviously you've got parsley and the lemon. So I'll just get a bowl out of the parsley being chopped. We'll chop it roughly. So I think it's meant to be garnished. You can put some in and garnish after as well. So that's just chopped roughly. It smells so fragrant and so nice. Right, so we'll just clean that off. Right, so bringing this here. So I'll get a pinch pot of what we need. So we've got a large handful of fresh parsley, 2 teaspoons of ras el hanout. So teaspoons will go in the dry ingredients. 1, don't be shy, you can put a heaped teaspoon in. 2, ras el hanout. 2 teaspoons of cumin. Now you can, if you have a shaker on the cumin, you can just a mental note and just get your 2 teaspoons out that way. Other you can actually put the other side on, which is giving you a bigger lump of the cumin. I just like to work it out as best I can. Right. We've got a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I like to leave the top on so it measures inside the top. So half a teaspoon of black pepper. It's about half a teaspoon now. We'll put that in with the dry ingredients. Doesn't matter if it goes everywhere. You can always clean it up. Right, preserved lemon. Right, so you can finely chop these, rind finely chopped, or you can grate them, or you can leave them into wedges. I like the wedges, so I'm going to be doing that today. As I say, just top and tail them because you don't want corks in, tops in, and just discard them. And top and tail, and just discard them. So I am going to get a bowl out to mix all the ingredients thoroughly. Right, so we've got a quarter of a cup of oil. So as I say again, just you can either measure or just do it as you see fit. So quarter of a cup of oil into the bowl. Right, so then you can put your spices in. That goes into the bowl. And your herbs, save a bit of the herbs for garnish afterwards. So there's your herbs going in, and then you have the onions, the lemons. We need some salt, so we need 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. So 1 1/4 just into the actual oil itself. Right, so that's it. You get a spoon and just mix it until you know you've got like a marinade, because this is going to coat your meat. Obviously if you feel like you need a bit more oil, you can do. Obviously the lamb's quite fatty anyway, so as that cooks it's going to send out its own fats as well. It's quite sweet, the fat. So I'll just put a tiny bit more oil in onto the lamb itself, just there. And then we need a small head of garlic, so we need quite a lot of garlic. So I'd say 2 teaspoons will do. That's all we need, 2 teaspoons. And then you keep stirring, and that's what it should look like. It's quite pungent at the moment until you get it on the meat and it actually starts cooking and takes away the pungency of the garlic, and you know, it flavours and sweetens nicely. So we need 3 to 4 tablespoons of water as well. It doesn't matter cold or hot, I'd say cold. This is in with this. So tablespoons, 1, 2, 3, put 4 in for luck. And then obviously just mix it round and incorporate all the flavours. And that's what it should look like now. It's quite looser and it smells quite delicious. So we'll set that aside for a moment, and I'm just going to chop my lemons into wedges. So you'll probably get 3 wedges out of each one, and then so you're getting 12 out of 2 lemons. You can grate the rind and put that through as well in this mixture. You don't have to though, but it's very fragrant when it comes out. I've just washed the knife because it's got citrus on it. And I'll just take the citrus away from the board as well. Dry it well. Right, so now we can move on. So now that's all been chopped, we'll bring it all back. Right. So we add the onions, go in. You just arrange them around the sides. It's all going to add flavour to the actual meat itself. And then you put the lemon wedges in. I mean, the proper way to do it is in a clay pot, and it has 2 handles on it. And you put your parchment paper over the top, and then you foil. I think it's just parchment they use in Morocco, but I find foil does the trick as well. And then they tie it and take it to the local hammam, which is a public bath, and downstairs you have an oven that heats the water for the public bath, so they're there all day baking bread, and they do the tanjia as well. And it's quite a celebrated dish. You'll only find it in Marrakesh. I'm not sure whether any more cities in Morocco do it, but as I say, Marrakesh is the one to go to if you want the tanjia, or you can do it yourself at home. So now we're just going to put this spice mix on the top of the lamb, like so. Make sure you get all of that spice out of the bowl, because you don't want to waste a drop of this gold juice. And all them spices are going to incorporate the meat as it's cooking very slowly, and the lamb will be so tender, as I say, it will just be divine. And now you can just put it around the onions as well, and then, as I say, if you need more oil or more water, you can put it in. I'll just put a tiny bit more. I won't put it on the lamb because obviously it's got the spices on the top of it, and a tiny bit more oil. I'll put it at the side, and that's it. And so all I've got left is my garnish, and that's it. Now I'm going to show you how to wrap it. So we get some greaseproof paper and some strong kitchen foil. Greaseproof paper. Excuse me. Right, so your greaseproof paper. So if you just scrunch it up and put it over so it fits over the top, so it's not letting anything out. Then you go in with your foil, which is strong foil, and there's one. You take little bits off and discard them. There's one. So you put it that way this time. So it's helping to hold the actual paper in place. And just underneath, like so. There's one. Do this twice. Make sure it's covering the ends as well. Sorry about the noise. Right, so you want this in the oven on a very low light. I'd say 140 degrees for 6 hours. So I should just put that. I'm going to warm the oven up now. Obviously take the things out what I need to be taking out, because I just take one of the shelves out and the grill itself. It's a removable grill. So once that's been heated up, it is on 140. So if you think it's cooking too fast, you can look at it. If you think it's cooking too fast, then turn it down. You don't want at the end of the 6 hours a burnt mess. So you need something that the lamb is going to be succulent, juicy, and just falls off the bone and melts in your mouth. That's how you need it. So I'll just put that there. Now we're going to move on. I'm just going to do a vegetable tagine. So for this, you need, let me just put these papers away. Right, so for this, you need tomato. So you can see, I'll put the ingredients on it here. That's for the tanjia. So tomato, we need some garlic, we need salt, and we need some pepper, we need some ground cumin. I'll get rid of these. And we can get some Moroccan seasoning as well. That's a nice flavour. So you can either do 1 tomato or you can do 2. I'll just do 1 because I've got a big meal coming in the oven, so I'd just like to do an accompaniment for it. Right, so then we have We have 2 onions, and then I've got some things over here that I've already parboiled, because if you put it in the tagine and cooking it for a couple of hours or an hour or so, the raw vegetables will still have a hard centre. So I like to parboil them. So I've got some carrots here. They've already been parboiled there. Quite a few carrots. I like the carrots. So, and the next one is sweet potato. You can use normal potato, sweet potato, new potato. I find that the new white potatoes are fine with this. And then we have just a few parsnips that wanted to be used. So it's quite a soft vegetable when it's cooked anyway, so you know that's quite nice with it. And it's got a unique flavour. I'm feeding the floor again. So, what you do, you'll get the pot that it's supposed to be in. This is what we're going to be cooking in. And it's a tagine. You cook your stuff in there. Obviously you can put a spoon in to lift the side up to let the steam out that way, or you can fill that with water and it stops it cracking. It is supposed to be put on the ring, and you have to have a metal anti-crack thing underneath, but I put mine in the oven because I haven't got the anti-crack thing. So we'll start by slicing the tomato up. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a plate out so we can put all the other ingredients onto it. Right, so we slice the ingredients. That's the tomato we need to use. Say wipe all your mess away. I'm just going to do the onion as well. These need to be in slices so you can arrange it, like decorate the dish. So take the peeling off and discard it. And just set it to one side until you've done the next one. Taking the skins off now, and obviously, and if you don't want the pungent flavour of the actual onion to hit your eyes, your nose, just don't cut the bottom off and it won't send out that pungency that makes you cry. Or you can put a spoon in your mouth or eat a bit of bread. Right, so now we'll just slice it in slices and just arrange it on it. Doesn't matter if it breaks up, you can still arrange it all. And again with the next one. Right, so you've got your vegetables, parsnips, carrots, sweet potatoes, and you've got tomato, onions. Right, so arrangements, Sorry about the sun. Right, so Moroccan way is always starting with a couple of tomatoes so it doesn't burn on the bottom, and then obviously open your spices and everything, get them ready because we're going to be doing layers with this. So you get them ready. You don't put too much garlic in this because obviously it's a strong flavour. And then we just go in with the onions and we arrange them like a little flower in the middle and just keep building it up layer by layer. It's only for one this, so you know, you put a tiny pinch of salt in. What you don't use, put back in. You can use some pepper on it. It's only a tiny thing in the middle. And Moroccan seasoning you can use also. So we'll put some Moroccan seasoning in. And then cumin. And so we'll put the parsnips in next. I think it just depends what vegetables you want to use. I mean, you can have some that's actually, you know, they go a bit soft and stuff, and they're perfect for you doing tagines. The softer the vegetable, the better. Not like really rotten soft, but just going that way. And then we can put some carrots in the middle of that. As I say, just fill it all up. Then you get a tiny bit of salt. You don't put too much in. Pepper, Moroccan seasoning, and cumin. And this time we're putting a tiny bit of garlic on the top. Right, so then we go in again with the tomatoes. Make it bigger this time.